Hello, my name is Mary,
And I'm James.
and you are listening to the Watch That Joan podcast. How are you doing today, James?
I am good. I'm pumped about this episode today.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Me too.
yeah. Yeah, it's another TV series we're doing, y'all.
Yes, so we're going to do it similar to how we did for Game of Thrones. Every week, we're going to try to bring you a recap and review of this show, which is The Last of Us Season 2.
Season 2, based on the smash PlayStation hit that came out with the same title, The Last of Us in 2013.
That's when the first game came out. And unlike some people, I played and completed both games. How many have you completed, James?
Listen,
Hmm?
I played about 25% of the first game, but I watched you play so much more. So I already know the story.
No, you need to play. You need to feel the terror of playing that game. Like it really feels like you are there. It feels like you are there and there's an affected around the corner. And if you make one false step, they're going to rip you to pieces because
and the
they rip you to pieces.
And the difficult part about the game is that it's realistic. Like you'll have one bullet and like one shiv that you can only use once before it breaks. It's not like these Call of Duty where you have unlimited ammo. You can just find ammo laying around anywhere. It
Well,
is
actually,
difficult.
I don't remember. I truly don't remember if weapons broke. Shivs broke, yeah, but I don't
Shivs
remember
broke. Yeah,
if like guns always worked and we had to find more ammo.
yeah.
But we had limited stash, so we couldn't run around with 17 guns. I think you might have got like 4, so you have to choose wisely and like yeah.
S- So with video games like this, and even shows, the show adaptation of the video game.
You said,
Shut up.
blah, 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 blah.
Blah, blah, blah. Um, it reminds me how unprepared I am if anything serious would happen.
Oh, absolutely. I am not a doomsday prepper, and maybe I need to start because a certain person's in the White House. So maybe we should get it together.
The doomsday's today, Mary.
The doomsday is imminent. It's right now. We're already there. I'm frightened.
But I'm so unprepared. Just like,
Right. I
do you
have no
even have
survival
water?
skills.
Do you have water for like a week in your house, Mary? Or like,
No,
do you
I
have a
sure don't.
flashlight?
On my phone.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
don't even
So,
have bandages. Like, what do you mean?
yo, and I feel like half of the survival in these types of world is just like wound care,
Yes.
making sure it doesn't get infected, and I have
Yes.
no idea. I just feel like I would
I
just
don't know how
put
to make a tourniquet.
no. I think if I got cut, I'll just take some rum and throw it in my throw it in my arm.
I mean, I
Like
have carbon peroxide and rubbing alcohol, so maybe I'll survive longer than you. Yeah,
carbon peroxide.
not carbon peroxide.
You
What's it called?
talk about
Hydrogen peroxide.
hydrogen. Yeah, that's the ever.
I don't even know what carbon peroxide is. Is that a
It's
thing?
nothing, right? No, it's not. It's
Well,
not.
someone should make it and see what happens. But yeah, I have hydrogen peroxide. But yeah, maybe you need to, I don't know, have Tiffany give us some penicillin or something.
Yeah, our surgeon sister-in-law. Want to do a season 1 recap, Mary, and then we can dive into this episode.
Okay, absolutely. So in season 1, this is going to be a super short summary, but basically we have a character named Joel
Hmm.
and he has a daughter and people start getting sick from this fungi called the cordyceps. It is a real fungi, and if you look it up, it is very scary because it
Terrifying.
literally hijacks your brain and puts you in a zombie-like state, and the fungi takes over like he's in a giant flesh mecha suit. Very scary, very scary. So yeah, there's an outbreak of this cordyceps infection, and it makes everyone cannibals and lose their mind. And in the chaos of everything that happens, Joel's 13-year-old baby girl gets shot by a policeman or the FBI or somebody because, he was freaking out. So yeah, years pass, and Joel is a grumpy, lonely man in a dystopian world filled by cannibals, and he finds a girl from one of his friends named Ellie, and she says this girl is immune because the thing about the infected cordyceps is that it's highly contagious. If you get bit, you will catch it. If you inhale the spores from the cordyceps, you will catch it and you become a monster yourself. And she's saying, hey, this girl got bit 7 days ago. It takes around, what, 3 days for the infection to
Mhm.
spread and make you a crazy cannibal? And she's fine. So she's like, listen, if she's immune, maybe we can reverse engineer her immunity and come up with some sort of vaccine. He was like, bet. All right. The girl says, I know some people called the Fireflies. There's a bunch of doctors over there. Get her there. So they team up, Joel and this girl, Ellie, and they go to the Fireflies, and him and her start to get really close, and he becomes a father figure. More than that, a father, because Ellie has no concept of who her parents are. She doesn't know them. They died like shortly after she was born. So they bond, and once they finally get to the Fireflies after killing many people and infected, the Fireflies are like, "Hey, you. So in order to try to get a vaccine out of this girl, we have to kill her." Joe says fuck no, and he kills everyone in the hospital and then lies to Ellie when she wakes up from her unconscious state,
Anesthesia.
anesthesia, and says, hey, yeah, they said that you aren't special. There's a lot of immune people out there, and we got raided, so we had to get out there. Like the Fireflies, the hospital we went to got raided, and we had to get out there. And that's where we leave season one. And yeah, did I get everything?
You got everything.
All right.
And yeah, you
All
got
right.
everything. So, season 2. I'll start it off.
Okay.
Okay. The episode opens with a recap of season 1, finale. Ellie asks Joe if everything he told her about the Fireflies was true. Joe lies to her again. We're then introduced to Abby and the remaining Fireflies at the hospital where Joe rescued Ellie. They've created a makeshift graveyard for the Fireflies Joe killed. Among them is Abby's father. Abby is now determined to track down and kill Joel. 5 years later, Joe and Ellie are living in Tommy's settlement in Jackson, Wyoming. Tommy is Joe's brother. Ellie's best friend and crush, Dina, discovers strange roots growing in the main water line and reports it to Joel. Ellie still resents Joel for saving her and rarely speaks to him. When Dina asks why, Joel dismisses it as teenage angst.
All
So,
right.
are you, I guess, when you first, either in a video game or in this first episode, were you surprised that Joel made so many enemies that wanted to track him down? Or like, right? Or was it, I guess a better question is, do you believe Joel's actions to one, go John Wick on the Fireflies, and two, lie to Ellie about it was justified?
I'm gonna answer all three of your questions. No, I was not expecting for Joe to have consequences for his actions, his very murderous actions, because that's the basis of video games. You kill a bunch of people and it doesn't really matter. Until the second game came along and it was like, oh, there is another side to this.
Yeah.
And the second game, I know a lot of people. The second game caused so much turmoil, because people were mad because they found out something, which I understand, and also because I'm going to try to speak about the game without spoiling anything that hasn't happened in a TV show. How about that?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Because a lot of people, the game came out a long time ago, and
Yeah.
I feel like more people are watching the show than actually play the video games.
Yeah. Do you think so? Whatever. I don't want to make this too long. But yeah, so no, I didn't expect for the second game to take that route, because like I said, that it's a video game. You kill a bunch of people and it's nothing happened, it doesn't matter. But it's like, oh, there's a whole nother side to this. And I love that, because that's kind of the basis of war. No side is right. There's
Well,
tragedies that happens on both sides.
typically they say, you know, the victor tells a story, right? So whoever
Mm-hmm.
survives tells a story in their light, you know.
Mm-hmm. And it's like,
Oh,
how did you survive? What tragedies did you commit? Well, atrocities that you commit that you're not speaking of as a victor, you know? But
yeah.
the second, it's like, I I completely understand what Joel did, and I would have did the same thing. I'm not saying it's right. Joel is not a good man by any stretch of the imagination. That is not a good man. Like I said, Joel, well, I didn't say this, but Joel has a mentality of us, my people, over everybody else. The
Yeah.
world don't mean anything to him, but the people he care about are not in it. And I think that is because of the extreme loss that he suffered. But I also think that's who he is.
No, I agree. And I feel like, Ellie, she was born into this like dystopian world.
She doesn't know anything
Joel,
about it.
she doesn't know anything different, but Joel wasn't, like
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't a young man, but like he had a life outside of this world. So I feel like when you're going through it, it kind of changes you. And
Mm-hmm. You
what
knew
you
what it was
said,
like beforehand. You knew what it was
yes,
like.
you
Yeah.
knew what it was like, right? And I think what you said is nothing matters if I can't live in this world with the people I care about. So he just snapped.
Mm-hmm. Would I have lied to Ellie?
I would have. I would have. One, she was only 14 years old. And I think him putting, if he would have told her that he went and killed everybody to save her, she would have just resented him for it and he would have lost her anyway. So I feel when he made that decision, though very selfish, he had to take on that whole burden, if that makes sense. And taking on that burden is keeping it to yourself. Because if not, he kind of puts the burden on her, like, because then she would think, like, oh, I don't, like, she would feel like I don't deserve
like my
my
life
life.
isn't worth all those people's lives.
Exactly. Exactly.
But it's like I think for her, I think it's the fact that he continued to lie is what built the resentment more. Cause she asked him, she was like, swear to me again that what you say about the fireflies is true. And I'm sure that's not the only time she asked him, and he continues to lie. I think is definitely the action, but I think that's what's kind of, you know, fueling the flames of resentment as well. But as for me, do you understand why Ellie is upset that he did that he did save her? Because for me, I'm never going to be mad at someone who saves my life.
Yeah, I think she wanted to. So I remember in the first season, she wanted to give her life to be a martyr. She wanted to give her life meaning by saving everyone else. I think she would take meaning in that. Versus now, she can go and get like shred apart by a clicker or caught by a random psycho, and none of it really matters. That
What do you
was
mean
her,
none of
her
that
mindset.
matters?
Meaning that like she didn't make an impact to the world,
Oh,
right?
okay, okay,
So
okay.
I think from like her impact and
Right,
like
you said she wanted to be a martyr. Yeah.
she wanted to be, I think she wanted to be a martyr and to give her life meaning, especially since she lost um people along the way, like everyone has, you
Hmm.
know.
One thing I want to say about Abby. So when we see Abby, one thing I want to say about Abby. So in the second game, like I said, everyone was butthurt because they heard there was going to be a transgender character in the game. When playing the second game, I thought that transgender character was Abby because Abby in the game is an absolute unit.
Just very, very strong.
Yes, like when you like cover her face and look at her body, it doesn't look like the body of a typical woman.
Mm.
Did you Google her real quick? Look at her.
Abby from The Last of Us. Okay.
Yeah, look. Listen. The girl, she looks like she does CrossFit all day, 7 days a week. Like
Oh yeah, you're right.
she's a unit.
Yeah, she is.
But yeah, cover her face. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. So when
Yeah,
they said with a trans character,
yeah, even the way she's standing looks like a
how the way
man.
she's standing, you know, she doesn't. She has kind of diminutive breasts. You know, she doesn't have wide hips. Like, so I thought that was a trans character, but it's not. But yeah. But
You
I do
sure?
think, yeah, that's Abby, dog.
Yeah, I think
See
I
them
think that's
arms? Abby
yeah.
lifts. Abby eats all her protein. Okay, listen. But yeah, the actress who plays her, Caitlin Dever, Daver, Daver. Daver. In the face, she does look like Abby, so I do appreciate that.
Yeah,
You got to play the second game, James. It's crazy. It's
yeah.
crazy.
I might
You got to
invest it.
finish the first one though.
I think I'll play it after the second season. I'm gonna think I'll watch the second season and finish the game. But I'm gonna
Finish the
skip the
first
first one.
game.
No, I'm gonna skip the. Whoa, I'm
You
gonna play
have
the
to
first
finish the
one.
first game.
I
You
don't got
have
time.
to. James, you played Madden for 6 hours yesterday. Not Madden. NCAA. What was it?
One of them.
Yeah, I know you did. All right, you ready to move
let's
on?
yeah, let's move on.
Okay. Joe later visits Tommy's wife and then heads to a therapy session with Gail. When he brings up Ellie again, Gail grows impatient, sensing he's withholding the real reason for Ellie's anger. To prompt honesty, Gail confesses she hates Joel for killing her husband Eugene. Joel still can't bring himself to tell the truth, only says cryptically, I saved her before leaving. So, this scene right here, to me, is the best scene in the whole episode. It's the best scene. Like, it's just like. So, Gail is played by Catherine O'Hara. I think she
Okay.
was a mother in Home Alone. But one thing I want to know about Gail is where you
She
get your.
was the mother from Home Alone.
She was the
Yeah, she
mother from
was.
Home. Yeah, I'm like she looks familiar. But one thing about Gail, I'm like where you get your makeup from, girl? You have on thick eyeliner, mascara, lipstick, your eyebrows are filled in. Where are you getting makeup from in the apocalypse?
You're right. After like 30 years of no Sephora, who do you
But
get your
you
makeup
know
from?
what? Well, I don't wear makeup often, but they say makeup expire. Makeup expires when it's done. I literally have makeup there for like 3 years ago, still there. So I'll probably have makeup in the apocalypse too. But
That's funny.
so one thing about Gail that cracks me up when Joel was telling her about Ellie again, and she's like, "Oh, my 19-year-old daughter, she's acting towards me like every 19-year-old daughter has ever acted towards her dad." And I was like, "That's hilarious. That's hilarious."
So, why do you think this is the best scene of the show?
Because Catherine O'Hara's performance to me is it's so palpable. It's phenomenal. Like I can feel seething out of her anger, the complexity of her position. You know what I mean? As a therapist, but also as someone speaking to someone who killed her husband. You know what I mean? Like I can feel like so much like her frustration. Like, she like even her drinking, she seems like a woman who is drunk, hurt, pissed off, but even at the end she's still like, I promise I will help you. So it's like I think she portrays, like I said, that complexity of character. Like, okay, I am a therapist, but this is also the end of the world. Why there are monsters running around here. Why the hell would I care about your daughter not talking to you? But
Yeah,
also I am a therapist and I know we are needed in times like this. I'm a therapist and I want to help you. I want to do everything I can.
but
But
also I'm a wife, and you killed my husband.
you killed my husband. And she said, you know, um, and looking at your face, sitting in our home makes me so fucking angry. And how the
Mm.
way she said that in her Catherine O'Hara's face, you could see it. It was
Yeah.
just, I think she did phenomenal.
When
So,
when she said that, I thought that she poisoned him.
yeah,
I first
the
thought I'm like, yo,
hatred was so thick.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And even what and I think her and Pedro Pascal, they had a good back and forth. Like you could tell they were feeding off each other's energy because
hmm
Joel's face when he tried to confess what really happened, that he lied to Ellie and Ellie's immune. Did you see how it was breaking apart?
mm,
It was all he could do but try to keep it together.
yeah,
It felt like he was going to fall back to pieces, but then his steely reserve came back and he said a cryptic, I saved her. And without saying it, he said, and I'll do it again.
exactly,
Hmm.
exactly. I'll do it again. I say there, and I have no regrets about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else you think about this scene?
Um,
Like, how would you feel? Like, how would you feel if you were her?
No, I would be pissed off too. I wouldn't. It's the whole thing is weird because I think people realize, or at least to a degree, that grudges after a while aren't beneficial. You know, like people who you fought 6 months ago are now people you rely on today. And I think that just the dystopian world, right? Like you fight until you make some sort of allegiance and then you kind of squash it and kind of go from there. And I think that's what Joel has become, right? Because Joel was a refugee when he got into this town in Wyoming. And only reason he stuck around is because his brother Tommy helped set up that camp. And there's even parts where like, Joe is now a leader and he's helping design the buildings for the city because he was a
Mhm.
contractor in his prior life. Like so I think the whole relationships um are like you said, uh is not just black and white. Like he probably pissed off a lot of people along the way. Um so yeah, no, it's definitely deep. And I actually appreciate that there's still therapists there because I would be a mess, a wreck.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, we always wonder who's the therapist. In that situation, it's like, I couldn't bring myself to care about other people's
No.
feelings. My husband's dead. There's monsters running around. We're running short on food and supplies, and people are crazy and scary now more than ever. I do not care about your problems. I do not have the empathy to be a therapist to you, but that shows that she is committed to the work.
She is. She's
Oh,
committed.
man. Okay, do you wanna do the next section or want me to do it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Later, Ellie, Dina, and a few others go on a patrol mission. Dina recently broke up with her on and off again boyfriend Jesse, asks Ellie to be her date to the settlement's New Year's Eve party. During the patrol, the group finds a small trail of blood, a large trail of blood. Curious and impulsive, Ellie and Dina run ahead and discover a bear carcass with his intestines torn out, evidence of infected nearby. They find a group of infected in a nearby supermarket and convince the others to let them investigate. Inside, Dina and Ellie quickly kill two clickers, but Ellie falls through a decayed section of the floor into the lower level. While Dina looks for a way down, Ellie encounters a strange runner, one more intelligent and stealthy than any she's seen before. It stalks and ambushes her, pinning her to the ground. Ellie manages to kill it, but not before it bites her in the stomach. Dina eventually finds Ellie and the dead runner. Ellie hides her bite marks and lies, saying that she's okay. So I love the action scenes in this show. And I loved it in season one. And season two did it very well again. So there's one point where Dina and Ellie they climb into the second floor of that supermarket and they're doing like sign language to each other, kind of communicating that there's a clicker nearby. And Ellie, she bends down and picks up a glass bottle, just like in the video games,
Mhm.
and throws it on the ground and makes a noise because um the clickers, which is like the second stage of the infected, they're blind. They can't see. The
They have
fungi has
exceptional hearing.
but they have exceptional hearing. This fungi has grown out their face so much that it blinds them.
Out their
So
face.
yes, right. So they come running and when they run, she's able to go and like basically withdraw them out wherever they're at, and she just jumped up and shanked them in the neck. But the runners, that's like the first stage of the infected,
Mhm.
where
It's the early
they can
stages.
they can see, but they're not as strong.
They still look relatively human
Yeah,
for the
still
most
relatively human, just a little of the fungi out there off their face.
part.
But they just sprint at you. All they do is just sprint and run towards you.
Actually, you want me to pull up the entire list of the infected levels?
Yes, I'm about to say level 3 is
What the
the
hell?
bloaters, right?
There's
And
another level. There's another level before the bloaters, isn't there?
I thought it was runners, cookers, bloaters.
Let me see. It could be right. Infected.
She played both games, y'all. So tell you how
Infected
much she remember.
stages. I think there's something before a bloater though. Okay, so okay. You have the runners. Yes, I was right. You have runners, you have stalkers, you have clickers, you have bloaters, and you have shamblers. Shamblers are terrifying.
I don't think was that introduced in the first season.
In the first season, we mostly got runners and clickers. This is probably the one that yes, stalkers is what she came into contact with today.
Hmm.
Stalkers is what Ellie. I forgot about stalkers. Yeah, because like you said, these infected they seem more intelligent. Like the runners, they seem clearly. She at first Ellie thought it was a runner. She was screaming at it, "Run at me!" But this runner is clearly more intelligent than any other runner Ellie has encountered. It hides and it stalks, unlike other runners who pursue its victims without any stealth or strategy.
Yes.
So, stalkers is a new level that's just being introduced in this second season. I wonder if they were introduced in the second game too. They might have been introduced in the second game as well. Yeah. So,
Terrifying.
very
Terrifying.
terrifying, very terrifying.
The thing about zombies, right, is you always think, okay, what's the advantage, right? In the Last of Us zombies, the advantage is they're stupid and the clickers can't see, or the runners are weak, right? If the runners run up to you, you can like two piece them and then
You can
take.
fight a runner. Yeah, you can fight a runner.
Yeah, and then the bloaters are dumb strong, but they're slow, right? Like all of them
Mhm.
have their advantages. The um Walking Dead zombies, right? They are also like dumb. You know what I mean? You can like they're not like
I never watched that show. I don't know.
Walking Dead is crazy. It's really good,
Mm.
right? Um, I feel like every zombies have like their strength, but also their weaknesses that you can kind of sneak by and get away. But like the different flavor of zombies, I
Flavor of
can't do
zombie
it.
sounds disgusting.
That's what it is. It's like, yo, you got like
Just
this
sounds like you
variant
have
of
to taste
zombie,
them.
that variant of zombie. They about to taste you.
What do you think? So I remember you said that you mentioned how Dina and Ellie were able to work out an attack plan without even speaking to each other.
Yes.
I think they have really good chemistry.
Yes.
Like they're both too overzealous, honestly, little shits who think they know
Yes.
everything, but like it works because it's like, yo, you have someone who has your back no matter what. And Dina is a rider too. She literally cannot be. In the second game, Dina is such a rider. Dina is down for Ellie, and this really shows it. She's down for Ellie. But
Mm.
one thing, Ellie was complaining because Joel wanted Ellie taken off patrols and put on the fence. And Ellie was like, I don't know why I'm not placed on patrols when Dina will never be taken off patrol. And it's like this scene made me understand why. Like, remember right when they were about to enter the supermarket, they were listening outside of a window. And Ellie thought there was only one infected. And she was about to
Hmm.
go right in. And Dina was like, no, wait. And she listened, and there were two. And it's like, okay, Dina, she's a little more level headed, where Ellie would have barged in and then would have been like, oh, snaps, there's two of them. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? But Dina, she waited. She's a little more patient. Dina wanted to go get the others when she found out there were two. But Ellie goaded her and pretty much called her a chicken and said, oh, pretty much saying like, let's you say something along the lines of like, if you don't do this, I'll see you less like capable than the men. And she was like, all
No,
right,
she said if like, oh, if you don't do it, they'll just send the men in instead.
yeah, so like she goaded her against her better judgment to go in there, and yeah, it all worked out. But Ellie did get bit.
She
If
did get
Ellie
bit.
wasn't Ellie, it would have been awful. It would have been
Exactly.
awful. So yeah, but I do think her and Dina work very well. They have this unspoken chemistry. I love the actress who plays Dina. She seems like the cool girl you want to be friends with.
Hmm.
Like, and the actress in the video game, well, the video game character Dina, she looks like another actress. She looks okay. Google Dina, right? Google Dina, the video game character.
Okay.
She kind of looks like Google Sunita Manny. So Sun ITA Manny. Sunita Manny.
Hold up.
No, maybe I'm.
So I see Dina,
Yeah,
and you said who?
Sunita Manny. She looks like her to me. This
How
actress.
do you spell that?
Sunita Manny. Mani.
Oh, she does kind of look like her a
A
little
little
bit.
bit, because when I saw Dina, I was like, "Who does she look like?" She looks like an actress, but I think they found someone. I don't think it's necessary is that big of a deal if the actor doesn't look like the person in the video game. But I like the fact that he tried.
Mm.
So yeah, I like Dina. I like her a lot, and I like how before they went off for the patrol, the camera shows Ellie getting her trusty knife. You know, her trusty shank that, like she said, she uses like just like in a video game. She used that Bud Light bottle to create a diversion. She snuck up on the clicker, jumped on his back, and stabbed the hell out of it, just like she
Mhm.
would in a video game with her trusty her handy dandy shank. So it's those little
And
callbacks to the games that I love. I really love.
and I think like even when the stalker, when Ellie was separated and the stalker was trying to find her, just even like the cutscene style, like of the fighting style, seemed like a video game too. I
He
just
says the same thing. He was like, these scenes feel like a video game. And sometimes they do. Sometimes they
yes,
do. Like,
and I freaking love it. I love it.
mm-hmm.
So it's so
That's why you
exciting.
need to finish the game.
It's so exciting.
But what did I want to say? So the bear.
The
In
bear.
my memory, infected do not consume or attack animals. I don't know any zombie video game or movie where they are concerned with animals. Animals are good. What do you remember it? I know you didn't get far. I can't. Like I said, I haven't played this game in a long time. Do you remember them attacking animals?
I kind of remember them eating deer carcasses.
Yes, you're right. You're right. Because I didn't Ellie try to capture one with a deer or do something with the deer. Did
I
I make
think
that
so.
up?
I think she was shooting them when they got near a deer.
So they just eat us for the hell of it? What's going on?
No, I think so. I think they do need the deer carcass.
They eat
I
both?
think. I think. Well, no. I just think they just need meat. So they. I think they prefer humans because humans, like from the virus's standpoint, the human can control.
Oh,
I
they
think
want to make other cordyceps. Yes, they want
yes,
to infect humans.
yes. I
You're
think they
right.
want to. They
Okay.
want to infect humans and make other
You're
cordyceps.
right.
But I think they eat the deer because they like meat as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's want to continue.
Yeah. Back at the settlements, Ellie and Dina report the intelligent runner to the council. Alone that night, Ellie uses a knife to hide her bite mark. At the New Year's party, Dina kisses Ellie in front of everyone. A bigot insults them, and Joel defends Ellie by shoving him to the ground. Ellie snaps at Joel for interfering and storms off. She returns to her room without saying a word to Joel. The episode ends with a close up of the roots growing through the pipes, revealing fungal growth inside. Abby and her group are shown closing in on the settlement.
So a few things. I think it's pretty cool how these people can have a little like slither of normalcy in their life, right? They're having a New Year's party, right? New
Mm-hmm.
Year's Eve party. And they're drinking and dancing and Dina's having a good time and her ex, uh
Jesse.
Jesse's like, hey, don't get too crazy. You got an early patrol in the morning, you know? And they're just having a good time. They're having fun.
Dina's like clomping around the dance floor, devoid of any grace, but like she's high, but like she's still the belle of the ball. You
hmm
know what I mean? And yeah, yeah. I think it's hilarious. Ellie's face when she's dancing with Dina and Dina kind of like moves in closer and like clearly shows she's into her. Her face looks so shocked. She looks like, oh my God, it's finally happening. And Dina's a class A seductress. You know, Ellie's like, everyone's looking at you. And she's like, because they're jealous. They're jealous because they know I want you. And she's like, she was pretty much, Ellie was like, I'm not a threat. And she was like, oh, girl, they should be terrified of you. That's how much of a threat you are, like, to
Yeah.
them when it comes to getting me. Like,
Yeah.
uh, but, so what, how do you feel about Ellie's reaction to Joel defending her?
I think well, Ellie was one. She was gonna beat up the dude herself. Right. She went up to go fight the guy. And if
You
you
sure she was
remember,
gonna fight him? I know Ellie is scrappy and Dina is too. That's why I like them together. And like, it makes sense because like you said, they were born in a world full of conflict and chaos and violence. They are,
mhm.
they're not for play. Like,
No,
they were
that,
born. They don't know that, you know what I mean? They're used
yeah,
to fighting. So,
yes. No, Ellie was absolutely gonna go take that guy
hmm.
down because
I
she
don't think she
started
would.
charging. No, she started charging him, and Joel beat him to it. That's
Hmm.
why she was so mad. That's
Hmm.
why she was like, "I don't need you to defend myself," because she was gonna go
But how the
handle
way
it.
she looked at him when she pushed him, she looked kind of like, "How could you do that to him?" I don't think she was going to yell at him.
No,
I don't think she was going to hit him. I mean, or like fight him. I thought she was just going to yell at the bigot. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know. If I think, I like the way when I saw Ellie, like the way she stepped up and approached him.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't just like, "Hey, you watch your mouth." That was
Mm.
I'm about to put my fist in
Mm.
it.
Mm.
So I think she was mostly up. I think she was embarrassed that Joel took that spotlight from her.
Okay. To
You
me,
know what
she
I mean?
seemed appalled by Joel's level of violence.
Appalled
Yeah,
by his level of violence. She's seen
yeah.
this man kill so many people.
I know, I
I
know,
don't
but
think that was. I don't think that was good at all.
I think that's the thing, though. I think she kind of doesn't really vibe with the fact that Joel will hurt and do whatever it takes to protect her. I feel like ever since what happened, I don't think she likes Joel defending her because it's like you killed all those people in the Fireflies to defend me, to
But she
protect
doesn't know
me.
that yet.
So maybe she's seeing that she's just like, oh, when it comes to me, you're kind of ruthless in a sense where it takes away my own agency.
But she doesn't know that.
She
She
knows.
has no
She doesn't
idea.
know. She knows. She knows. That's why she's
She,
mad. She knows he's lying. She
she
knows
knows
he
he's
kills.
lying, but he doesn't know that she killed
She
everybody.
knows. She knows. Trust me. I'm certain she knows. I can't say anything to back up that claim, but I'm pretty sure she knows that he used because I think because we know that she doesn't believe the story about them being raided.
Yeah.
So she doesn't believe that story. So it's like, okay, how do we get out there alive? Joel probably killed a bunch of people to get me out of there. Like, you know what I mean? I I could be wrong, but I think
I guess that's not a knowing Joe's track record and,
he killed
and
everybody. He
his
burned the
tendency
place
for
down.
murder. You
He threw multiple grenades and had a machete in his mouth while shooting two AK-47 simultaneously. He went full Scarface. Like,
he did.
but yeah, it's like we said. I was listening to a. I didn't want to listen to all of it, but it's like there's consequences for your actions, and you're showing this much brutality. And on one side is justified because we know he loves Ellie, but it's like, what about the people who don't love Ellie? Like, they still deserve the same respect. And yes, he called her a bigot, but you can't just do everything for the sake of protecting your family and expect not to get away with it, like Walter White in Breaking Bad. you know
Yeah,
expecting to get away
to
with it.
get
There's
away with it.
consequences for every action, even if your actions are defending someone you love.
Yeah.
But
No,
I do
that's
think
true.
she's being hard on Joel. It broke my heart. Even in the
Yeah.
game, it broke my heart when you see its face and it's like, you're all he has. You're all he
Mhm.
has. Just
That
forget
scene
him.
happened in the game too.
Yeah, that whole scene, them kissing, them dancing, that whole scene happened in the game. Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. This game has so much depth. They don't have to add that much to it to make the show. It's actually incredible.
So you should probably play it then, huh?
I should probably
You
play
should
it.
probably finish it. All
You
right.
know, I'm probably just gonna watch the cutscenes on YouTube.
Nigga, I hate you. I truly do not like you. But all right, anything else you got to
So,
say?
well, the crazy thing is about the fungi in the branches. So when earlier in the show, in the episode, um, they were removing, they were trying to clear out all these
The
branches
mainline pipes.
in the in a water line, right? And I'm like, don't touch those branches. There's probably spores in there. And
Mm,
I've remembered in the first game that fire causes the spores to grow.
mm.
And one person was walking around with like a firecracker or whatever and dropped it to the main line.
Yes, for New Year's they had sparklers.
Sparklers, yeah, and it caused the flame to grow. And if you remember, the way the fungi communicate is through the ground, and they basically they're in this like
I don't
almost
remember that
neural.
part being in the game though. I feel like that's
Yeah,
what they added.
that I think they added it. I think they added
Okay.
it to the show,
Yeah.
but like they communicate through like this neural network, right? Kind of
Mhm.
like how ants communicate through pheromones. Like they don't really think themselves, but there's like a hive
Hive
mind,
mind. Yeah.
right? So I think what's going to happen is that they're gonna signal to all the infected in the area that there's like
Come
people there
through.
come through, and then obviously Abby is standing up on the hill with her and her militia, finding a settlement that they think where Joe is going to be. So everything just going to crash down at once, and their whole party, and you know,
It's the calm before the storm.
it's yeah, the calm before the storm. Like you said, the regular
The
like
calm before the tsunami.
yeah, and it's
No,
gonna
the
be
earthquake, then the tsunami.
yeah. Yeah, no, it's gonna be pretty crazy. So I'm excited. Excited. All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening to another episode of Watch That John podcast. We'll be right back with you for the
Wait,
next
we didn't rate
episode.
anything.
Well, you want to rate episode by episode?
Yeah, we did that
Okay.
for Game of Thrones. Yeah, I'll give this episode. I will give this episode a I'll give it like a medium bag of popcorn
Why just a medium?
because I know better things are coming. The first
Hmm.
season there wasn't enough infected. I
Yeah.
want that now. Yes, the human moments are great. I want to see more infected. And I think the producers or the writers or the directors or whoever, they acknowledge the fact that we all wanted more infected. We thought, great show, but this is a zombie movie. Give us more infected. So, yes, I want more infected. So, until then, I'm saving my large bag of popcorn for that. But other than that, the character performances, like I said, Catherine O'Hara was great, but I still want, I know I'm saving it. So, I'll give it a medium.
Okay. I'm not saving nothing. I'm gonna give it a large.
Okay.
I think this reminded me how much I like the game. I
But not
reminded
enough
me
to
how
play it.
much of how much I like season one, and I'm really excited to have something to look forward to on Sundays. So
All right. All right, then. Well, thank you so much, guys. Tell them where to find us again, Tuba.
yeah, so you can find us on our YouTube at the Watch That Joan podcast, Instagram at Watch That Joan, and you can listen to our episodes wherever you hear your podcast, whether that be Apple Podcast or on Spotify. So until next time.
Bye.